will stand alone. For love and liberty will stand alone, for this one land of the free. And when the bombs of hell come raining down tonight, we'll stand alone for Baltimore and liberty. We'll stand alone for Baltimore and
He looked down into her brown eyes, said, say a prayer for me. She threw her arms around him, whispered, God will keep us free. They could hear the riders coming, said, this is my last fight. If they take me back to Texas, they won't take me back alive. Everybody sing with me now. 7 Spanish angels at the altar of the sun. They were praying for the lovers in the valley of the gun. When the battle stopped and the smoke cleared, there was thunder from the throne. 7 Spanish angels took another angel home. He reached down and picked that gun up, lay smoking in his hand. Said, Father, please forgive me, I can't make it without my man. She knew that gun was empty, she knew she couldn't win. Her final prayer was answered when the rifle fired again. Everybody. 7 Spanish angels at the altar of the sun. They were praying for the lovers in the valley of the gun. When the battle stopped and the smoke cleared, there was thunder from the throne. 7 Spanish angels took another angel home. 7 Spanish angels at the altar of the sun. They were praying for the lovers in the valley of the gun. When the battle stopped and the smoke cleared, there was thunder from the throne. 7 Spanish angels took another angel home. 7 Spanish angels took another angel home. Cowboy Chuck from Boulder City.
Hey, I wonder what the power is I do have over me. I guess I'd never love you long, just your memory. And I make a vow each time you live, and it's will draw the line. And you come back, and just like now, call in one more time. One more time, my lips may kiss you. One more time, my arms will hold you. But it won't be long until you're gone, with a memory left behind. I just know that when you go, I'll be lonely one more time. Your newness makes me wake up, and I'll give in to you. And I'm doing all the things I said that I wouldn't do.
song, Chuck. Dear Chuck.
You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. The other night, dear, as I lay sleeping, I dreamed I held you in my arms. When I awoke, dear, I was mistaken. So I hung my head and I cried. Everybody sing. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. Please don't take my sunshine away. Cowboy Chuck from Boulder City.
You cut that. Where you at?
I'll try Charlie's Shoes.
All right.
I'd like to be in Charlie's shoes. That's what I've always said. 'Cause he had you and everything tied with a golden thread. Well, old Charlie left and went away, and then I got the news. Wasn't long till I was walking round in Charlie's shoes. Now I'm wearing out the shoes that Charlie wore. Well, I'm walking back and forth across the floor. The troubles that go him away, I've got for company. These nights in Charlie's shoes are killing me. The greener grass that turned my head so smooth, it turned round. And every little dream I built, she's always tearing down. I never knew old Charlie's shoes could have so many ties. A disappointing sorrow train, I wish he had them back. Now I'm wearing out the shoes that Charlie wore. Walking back and forth across the floor. The troubles that drove him away, I've got for company. These nights in Charlie's shoes are killing me. Yes, these nights in Charlie's shoes are killing me.
Charlie wears boots, though.
Okay, another Ray Price. Pride. I think it's called Pride. You ready? Ready for this one?
I'm always ready.
It's a fast one. Look at it. You know that you're doing lots of things that ain't right. You're out with a different party almost every night. And you're making me look like a crazy fool. So why do I have these doubts about being you? Because my heart tells me stay, but my pride tells me go. But how can I leave you when I love you so? Which way should I turn? I'd sure like to know. My heart tells me stay, but my pride tells me go. Can you play lead? I'd be so much better off to drive you from my mind and make you a memory that I'd like to leave behind. I know that these heartaches are what you will put me through. So why do I have these doubts about leaving you? Because my heart tells me stay, but my pride tells me go. And how can I leave you when I love you so? Which way should I turn? I'd sure like to know. My heart tells me stay, but my pride tells me go. My heart tells me stay, but my pride tells me go.
Hello.
Hello!
Hello.
How old is Smitty?
Don't look so.
I know it.
I would have thought you.
Maybe I didn't love you all those lonely, lonely times. Maybe I never told you I'm so happy that you're mine. Little things I should have said and done, I never took the time. You were always on my mind. You were always on my mind. Maybe I didn't hold you all those lonely, lonely times. Maybe I never told you I'm so happy that you're mine. Little things I should have said and done, I never took the time. You were always on my mind. You were always on my mind. Tell me your sweet love hasn't died. Give me one more chance to keep you satisfied. I'll keep you satisfied. Little things I should have said and done, girl, I never took the time. You were always on my mind. You were always on my mind. Thank you much.
Good, Jim.
Young and
Do it, G. Heartache number one was when you left me. I never knew I could hurt you. And heartache number two was when you were back again. You came back but never meant to stay. I've got heartaches by the number, troubles by the score. Every day you love me less, each day I love you. Yes, I've got heartaches by the number, that I can't win. But the day that I stop counting, that's the day my world will end. said that you were coming back to stay. With hopeful heart I waited for your knock on the door. I waited, but you must have lost your way. Now I've got heartaches by the number, troubles by the score. Every day you love me less, each day I love you more. Yes, I've got heartaches by the number, a love that I can't win. Up the day that I stop counting, that's the day my world will end.
All right.
Yeah.
I think that's plenty loud, just loud enough over there, Dan. You hear that already?
Sounds
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. Devil Woman.
Okay. Down just a little
I told Mary about thoughts about her patient. Mary cried and forgave me. Mary took me back again. Said if I wanted my freedom, I could be free evermore. But I don't want to be, and I don't want to see Mary cry anymore. Oh, devil woman, devil woman, let me be. Devil woman, let me be. Leave me alone, I want to go home. Mary's waiting and weeping down in our shack by the sea. Even after I've hurt her, Mary's still in love with me. Devil woman, it's over. Wrapped no more by your charms. 'Cause I don't want to stay and I don't get away from Mary and open your arms. Oh, devil woman, let me be. Devil woman, let me be. Leave me alone, I want to go home. Running along by the seashore, running as fast as I can. Even the seagulls are happy, glad I'm coming home again. Never again will I ever cause another tear to fall. Down the beach I see what belongs to me, the one that I want to go. Oh, devil woman, let me be. Devil woman, let me be. Leave me alone, I want to go home. Oh, devil, let me be. Leave me alone, I want to go home. Yeah, I cut that song in half. It's too long. Songs are long.
I like her down on the beach sifting sand.
Yeah. All day, all night, Marianne.
Yeah.
You remember that song? Yeah.
Oh, me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Jen. Okay.
You're the one that said we was going counterclockwise.
Yeah.
Yeah. Forget where we was.
Yeah.
When we're all alone, dear, and I'm in your arms, are you teasing me? When you're telling me you thrill to my charm, are you teasing me? Are you untrue when I'm not with you? When we're apart, are you free? Tell me, darling, why our love is still young. Are you teasing me? when I'm not with you. When we're apart, are you free? Tell me, darling, why our love is still young. Are you teasing me? You tell me my kisses set your heart in a whirl, and that you'll be mine till the end of this world. Tell me, darling, why our love is still young. Are you teasing me? Tell me, darling, are you teasing me? Thank you much.
Hey, Preston. Crazy arms.
Hey, they get on that.
I'm gonna get that one for you. Smitty gets it.
What's she in?
D.
D?
I'm in me. Now blue ain't the word for the way that I feel. There's a storm brewing in this heart of mine. This ain't no crazy dream, I know that it's real. You're someone else's love, now you're not mine. Crazy arms that seek to hold somebody new, but my burning heart keeps saying you're not mine. My trouble, mine, oh, soon to another you'll be blue, and that's why I'm lonely all the time. Please take these treasured dreams I had for you and take all the love I thought was mine. This ain't no crazy dream, I know that it's true, and that's why I'm lonely all the time. Crazy arms that seek to hold somebody new, but my burning heart keeps saying you're not mine. My trouble, mine, oh, soon to another you'll be with, and that's why I'm lonely all the time. Crazy arms that seem to hold somebody new, but my burning heart keeps saying you're not mine. My trouble, mine, oh, soon to another you'll be with, and that's why I'm lonely all the time. And that's why I'm lonely all the time.
Made a hurry.
Yeah, we got to hurry with that.
Yeah, that's a.
I'm 1,000 miles from nowhere. No matter to me. I'm 1,000 miles from nowhere. Don't get tired, one baby. I've got heartaches. I've got heartaches in my pocket. I got echoes in my head, and all the things I keep hearing, all the cruel things we say. memory. I got tear stains on my hands, and in the mirror there's a vision of what it used to be a man. Oh, thousand miles but nowhere. Time don't matter to me. I'm 1,000 miles from nowhere. There's no place that I want to be. I've got heartaches in my pocket. I got echoes in my head, and all the things I keep hearing, all the cruel things you say. That's a fade out. Oh, it's kind of a little bit newer song.
In the twilight glow, I see you. Blue eyes crying in the rain. When we kissed goodbye and parted, I knew we'd never meet again. Love is like a dying ember, and only memories remain. Through the ages I'll remember blue eyes crying in the rain.
Take it, man.
Someday when we meet up yonder,
All right.
we'll stroll hand in hand again in that land that knows no parting. Blue eyes crying in the rain. Someday when we meet up yonder, we'll go hand in hand again in that land that knows no parting. Blue eyes crying in the rain. I said blue eyes crying in the rain. Thank you much. Cowboy Chuck.
Old Jim Reeves song. Have I told you lately that I love you? Have I told you lately that I love you? Could I tell you once again somehow? Have I told with all my heart and soul how I adore you? Well, darling, I'm telling you now. My heart would break if I should lose you. I'm no good without you anyhow. you anyhow. Here have I told you lately that I love you. Well, darling, I'm telling you now. Have I told you lately how I miss you? When the stars are shining in the sky. Have I told you how I'd like to share my love forever? Well, darling, I'm telling you now. My heart would break too if I should lose you. I'm no good without you anyhow. Here have I told you lately that I love you. Well, darling, I'm telling you now. Yes, darling, I'm telling you now.
Smitty from Boulder City.
Cowboy Smitty.
From Boulder City.
Rhymes.
Smitty from Boulder City. That goes good. No, that's good. Just give him a new name.
Oh, yeah. How about Neon Moon, Brooks, and
Okay.
kick her up a notch? It's just in G, Joe. Just in G. Don't ever run away. When the sun goes down on my side of town, this lonesome feeling come to my door. The whole world turns blue, blue. There's a rundown bar across the railroad track. I got a table for two, waiting to back where I sit alone. I ain't gonna losing you. I spend most every night beneath the light of that neon moon. Now if you're losing your one and only, and there's a room there for the lonely, to want a broken dream dancing out of the veins of that neon moon. I think of two young lovers running wild and free. I close my eyes and sometimes say you in shadow. Oh, this won't do. No telling how many tears I've sat here and cried, or how many lies that I've lied dead in my poor heart. He'll come back someday, but I'll be alright as long as there's light from that neon moon. Now if there's losing you one and only, there's always room here for the lonely, to want a broken dream dancing out of the veins of that neon moon. The jukebox plays song, drink by drink. The words of these sad songs seem to say what I think. This love inside of me, they ain't never gonna end. But I'll be alright as long as there's light from that neon moon. Now if you're losing your one and only, there's always room here for the lonely, to want a broken dreams dancing out of the veins of that neon moon. Now if you're losing your one and only, there's only
acorn in a bar in Toledo, across from the depot. On a bar stool she took off her ring. I thought I'd get closer, I walked on over, I sit down and asked her name. When the drink finally hit her, she says, I'm no quitter, I finally quit living on dreams. I'm hungry for laughter, whatever's after, I'm after whatever the other life brings. I looked in the mirror, I closely watched him, I thought how he looked out of place. He walked to the woman who sat there beside me, he had a strange look on his face. He was big as a mountain, his big hands were calloused. For a minute I thought I was dead. He started shaking, his big heart was breaking. He turned to the woman and said, you picked a fine time to leave me, Lucille. 4 hungry children and the crops in the field. I have had some bad times to live through some sad times, but this time your hurting won't heal. You picked a fine time to leave me, Lucille. He finally left us, I ordered more whiskey. She said, let's go have a ball. From the lights of that bar room to a rented motel room, we walked without talking at all. She was a beauty, but when she came to me, she must have thought I'd lost my mind. I couldn't hold her for the words that he told her, kept running back time after time. You picked a fine time to leave me, Lucille. 4 hungry children and the crops in the field. I've had some bad times and lived through some sad times, but this time your hurting won't yield. You picked a fine time to leave me, Lucille. You picked a fine time to leave me, Lucille. Thank you much.
Thanks, so. Say hey, good looking, and Charlie. See. Say hey, good looking. What you got cooking? How's about cooking something up with me? Hey, sweet baby, don't you think maybe we can find a brand new recipe? I got a hot rod Ford and a $2 bill. I know a spot right over the hill where the soda pop and the dancing's free. If you wanna have some fun, come along with me. Say hey, good looking, what you got
candy kisses wrapped in paper means more to you than any of mine. Candy kisses wrapped in paper, you'd rather have them any old time. You don't mean it when you whisper those sweet love words in my ear. Candy kisses wrapped in paper means more to you than my new dear. I built a castle out of dreams, dear. I thought that you were building one too. Now my castle all has fallen, and I'm left alone and blue. Once my heart was filled with gladness, now there's sadness and only tears. Candy kisses wrapped in paper mean more to you than my new year. Mean more to you than my new year.
Good job. Do a Hank song for Chuck. You might have to take it over, Chuck.
Which one is it?
The day I passed the street and my heart fell at your feet, I can't help it if I'm still in love with you. Somebody else by his side, and he looked so satisfied. I can't help it if I'm still in love with you. A picture from the past can slowly steal away as I brushed your arm and walked so close to you. Then suddenly I got that old time feeling. I can't help it if I'm still in love with you. It's hard to know another lips will kiss you and hold you just the way I used to do. Oh, heaven only knows how much I miss you. I can't help it if I'm still in love with you. One more time. No, I can't help it if I'm still in love with you.
Good job.
All right.
Okay, let's try that. Try it. Send me the pillow you dream on in A. Send me the pillow that you dream on. Don't you know that I still care for you? Send me the pillow that you dream on. So darling,
help himself.
Oh, yeah.
This was way back in their part of the country where they have all that road rage.
Oh.
Driving down the interstate, running 30 minutes late, singing Margarita and I'm minding my own. Wrong attitude, rage attitude, rode up beside me talking on the cell phone. Held together running like I did something wrong. Flipped me the bird, then I was gone someday, somewhere. There's a big umbrella, and bottom and break over an empty chair. One feet are blowing, left feet are blowing. I picture myself right there on some beach somewhere. I circled the parking lot trying to find a spot. Just begun up like a park my hotel. A man with the big cigar was getting into his car, stopping my waiting for him to back up. From out of nowhere a Mercedes Benz came cruising up, went right in some beach somewhere. Nowhere to go when you've gone all day to get there. There's no margarita, hot senorita, smiling the don't care on some beach somewhere. I sat in that waiting room, it seemed like all afternoon. There was no sign, he said, "Doc's ready for you. You're not gonna feel a thing, I'll give you some Novocaine. That could be fine in a minute or two." She tucked that needle down deep in my gum. He started drilling before I was numb. Someday, somewhere, there's a beautiful sunset burning up the atmosphere. Music and dancing, love and romancing, salting up skin dyed air on some beach somewhere. On some beach somewhere. That's a some beach song.
All right. I was trying to do Freddie Fender, but I can't do it.
You guys remember a $2 bill?
Nope, but go for
We
it.
didn't. Remember a $2 bill? That's an old one. That's a great one. Maybe we better find something else.
Would you?
You remember $2 bill?
I'll probably get it as soon as
I had one.
It's in G. Easy to do. What's all my money but a $2 bill? $2 bill or a $2 bill? What's all my money but a $2 bill? And I'm on my long journey home. Cloudy in the west and it looks like rain. Looks like rain, Lord, it looks like rain. Cloudy in the west and it looks like rain.
Pass me by. Would you look at what came down the road today? One made to be, one more mistake you've made. A bridge to burn to get to someone new. Hey, pass me by if you're only pass it through. You sure look like the traveling kind to me. Don't stop if this ain't where you want to be. Now I don't know what you think you'll run into. Hey, pass me by if you're only pass it through. I'm not gonna be your stepping stone among the other hearts that you walked on. Lord help me if I fall in love with you. Hey, pass me by if you're only pass it through. Hey, pass me by if you're only pass it through.
Pearson, walking my dog. Well, I'm walking the dog, and I never blue. I'm walking the dog, ain't thinking about you. I don't need no one to tie me down. I'm walking the dog, I'm a painting the town. Such an easy life I never knew until that day that I left you. Oh, I'm a carefree lad that's seen the light. I'm a walking the dog all the day and all night. Well, I'm full of strength, I just can't go forward. I got a one-track mind, so I've been told. But I'm fancy free, I don't worry no how. Well, I'm a walking all over the line. Such an easy life I've never knew until that day that I left you. Oh, I'm a carefree lad that's seen the light. I'm walking down all day and all night.
How about old Bob Wills? Faded Love.
Yes,
You reading it?
I like
Did
it.
we do that before?
No. Eat.
You need, yeah. I hope I did it. As I look at the letter that you
of my blue line, who is sailing over the sea. Yes, I'm thinking tonight of her own, and I wonder if she ever thinks of me. Would have been better for us both had we known in this wide wicked never met, for the pleasure we both seen together. I'm sure love I'll never forget. Yes, I'm thinking tonight of my blue, who is sailing over the sea. Yes, I'm thinking tonight of her only, and I wonder if she ever thinks of me. Oh, you told me once, dear, that you loved me. You said that we would part, but a link in the chain has been leaving me with a sad, aching heart. When the cold grave shall enclose me, will you come, dear, and shed just one tear? Will you say to the strangers all around, a poor heart you have broken lies here? Yes, I'm thinking tonight of my blue line, who is sailing over the sea. Yes, I'm thinking tonight of her only, and I wonder if she ever thinks of me. Yes, I wonder if she ever thinks of me. What's the name of the song?
I think I've got it.
Heartache by the number.
No, I think, I don't know if this
Heartache number one. You left me.
They just don't know how lost I feel without you. My teardrops never see the bright of day. I laugh and joke each time they talk about you, but if they hurt my heart, then you're insane. Excuse me, I think I've got a heartache. There's an aching deep inside, and it just won't be denied. Excuse me, I think I've got a heartache, and I'd better say goodbye before I cry. I guess it's pride that makes me hide my sorrow. I live a lie and all I do is say. My lip may lie in pain to bright tomorrow, but if I told the truth, I'd have to say, excuse me, I think I've got a heartache. There's an aching deep inside, and it just won't be twice before I cried. Oh, but
Thought I was. I got up.
What are you gonna play?
Me and Bobby McGee.
busted back in Baton Rouge.
Yep.
From the coal mines of Kentucky to the California sun, Bobby shared the secrets of my soul. Standing right beside me, Lord, doing everything I'd done. And at night she kept me from the cold. Somewhere near Salinas, Lord, I let her slip away, looking for that home I'd hope she'd find it. I'd trade my tomorrows for a single yesterday, holding Bobby's body next to mine. Freedom is another word for nothing left to lose. Nothing ain't worth nothing, but it's free. Life was easy living when Bobby was with me. Feeling good was good enough for me. Oh yeah, good enough for me and Bobby McGee. From the coal mines of Kentucky to the California sun, Bobby shared the secrets of my soul. Standing right beside me, Lord, doing everything I'd done. And at night she kept me from the cold. Somewhere near Salinas, Lord, I let her step away, looking for that home I hope she'd find. I'd trade my tomorrows for a single yesterday, holding Bobby's body next to mine. Freedom is another word for nothing left to lose. Nothing ain't worth nothing, but it's free. Life was easy living, Lord, when Bobby was with me. Feeling good was good enough for me. Oh yeah, good enough for me and Bobby McGee. La 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 la. Good enough for me and Bobby McGee. Yes, good enough for me and Bobby McGee. Thank you much.
You got the law.
Cowboy check.
Remember that song?
Yep. Love, cheat, and lie.
Don't let me cross over cheating line. I'm tempted, my darling, to steal you away. Don't let me cross over, stay out of my way. You know that I love you, and I'm not stealing kind, but not for the heartache
Bobby Bear.
Bobby Bear.
Detroit Street.
Mm.
I wanna go home. I wanna go home. Oh, how I wanna go home. Last night I went to sleep in Detroit City, and I dreamed about those cotton fields and home. I dreamed about my mother, dear old Papa, sister and brother. I dreamed about those girls who've been waiting for so long. I wanna go home. I wanna go home. Oh, how I wanna go home. Home folks think I'm big in Detroit City. From the letters that I write, they think I'm fine. But by day I make the car, by night I make the bar. If only they could read between the lines. I wanna go home. I wanna go home. Oh, how I wanna go home. Oh, how I wanna go home.
And you old Bobby.
Beautiful.
Bobby Bear.
Good job.
Indeed. Put your sweet lips a little closer to the phone. Let's pretend that we're together all alone. Till the man turn the cube way down low. And you can tell when they're with you, he'll have to go. Whisper to me, tell me, do you love me true? Or is he holding you the way I do? Though love is blind, make up your mind, I've got to know. Should I hang up, will you tell him you'll have to know? Put your sweetness a little closer to the phone. Let's pretend that we're together all alone. Till the man turn the people way down. And you can tell when they're with you, you'll have to go. You can't say the words I wanna hear while you're with another man. If you want me, answer yes or no, darling, I'll understand. Put your sweetness a little closer to the phone. Let's pretend that we're together all alone. Till the man turn the tube way down low. And you can tell when they're with you, you'll have to go. You can tell when they're with you, you'll
I've tried so hard to get you off my mind, but it seems you left too much of you behind. Memories of the past get in my way. I keep looking forward to tomorrow and finding yesterday. You're in every cup of coffee and in every glass of wine. Each song on the jukebox sounds like yours and mine. Funny, when I look into your favorite coffee, I keep looking forward to tomorrow and finding yesterday. I told myself the day you said goodbye, go find someone new to drive you from your mind. But he said, not easy said like some folks say. Well, I'm not looking forward to tomorrow, you find him yesterday. You're in every cup of coffee and in every glass of wine. Each song on the jukebox sounds like yours and mine. Funny, when I look at someone new, I see your face. I keep looking forward to tomorrow and finding yesterday. So I keep looking forward to tomorrow and finding yesterday.
I need to get those.
He'll start picking and grinning if he wants to.
How about another Jim Reeves song? Four Walls. Out where the bright lights are glowing, you're drawn like a moth to a flame. You laugh while the wine's overflowing, while I sit and I whisper your name. So here's where you let me stay. Four walls to hear me, four walls to see, four walls to near me, closing in on me. One night with you is like heaven, and so while I'm walking the floor, I hear footsteps in the hallway and wait for your knock on my door. To hear me, four walls to see, four walls to near me, closing in on me, closing in on
Sometimes I feel the weight of the past break in my mind. I know it's gone for good. It makes me want to cry. Is this all we get to keep as the years go strolling by? Just a memory of all the days gone by. Oh, you're always in my heart, and you're often on my mind. Your love will never die, long as I'm alive. Oh, it seems so sad to me that we never said goodbye. I guess it never hurts to hurt sometimes. You try to hold on to the moment, but time won't let you stay. For every step you take, you lose something along the way. Is this all we get to keep as the years go strolling by? Just a memory of all the days gone by. Oh, you're always in my heart, and you're often on my mind. Your love will never die, long as I'm alive. Oh, it seems so sad to me that we never said goodbye. I guess it never hurts to hurt sometimes. Oh, I guess it never hurts to hurt sometimes. Cowboy Chuck from Boulder City. Thank you.
Run out of song pushes. How about Walking the Floor Over You? Ernest Tubb. You left me and you went away. You said you was back in just a day. You've broken your promise, left me here alone. I don't know why you did, dear, but I do know that you're gone. I'm walking the floor over you. I can't sleep a wink, that is true. I'm hoping and I'm praying that heart breaks right in two. Walking the floor over you. Now, darling, you know I love you well. I love you more than I could ever tell. I thought that you loved me, always would be mine, but you left me here alone with troubles on my mind. I'm walking the floor over you. I can't sleep a wink, that is true. I'm hoping and I'm praying heart breaks right in two. Walking the floor over you. Yes, walking the floor over you. Quick and sweet.
Thank you so much for watching the cowboy and his crew, that whole gang.
Water conservation is a priority in southern Nevada. Reduce your water footprint in 3 simple steps. Spring forward with seasonal watering restrictions, but don't water more than you need to. And find and fix the most common household leaks to avoid water waste. See all the ways to save here on Waterways. Mandatory watering restrictions can help us all water wisely, avoid overwatering, and reduce water waste. In spring, the key is to monitor your landscape regularly and fine-tune seasonal needs.
On average, Valley residents use about 60% of their water outside. That means outdoors is also where residents have the greatest potential to conserve water. One of the most effective ways to save water is to follow mandatory watering restrictions. In March and April, both sprinkler and drip watering are limited to 3 assigned days a week according to your watering group. Properties in groups A, C, and E can water on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Properties in groups B, D, and F can water on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Watering on Sunday is not permitted for any group. If you don't know your assigned watering days or group, simply look on your water bill, call your water provider, or visit snwa.com for help.
Turf watered by sprinklers and plants and trees watered by drip emitters have different needs. So let's first talk about sprinklers.
Check your irrigation clock first to ensure sprinklers are running only on your assigned spring days. Next, set your irrigation controller start times to run sprinkler cycles in early morning. Water applied in the morning packs more of a punch since it won't evaporate under peak daytime temperatures or get swept away by afternoon winds. Another key to efficient lawn watering is spacing sprinkler cycles over a few hours to ensure your grass doesn't get more than it can possibly drink.
Jared, tell us why it's better to water your lawn with short sprinkler cycles.
It's great to run your sprinklers in short cycles, roughly for about 4-minute increments, and we actually call it the cycle and soak method. The reason why is that it lets the water run deep into the root zones, and it also avoids runoff. If the water runs from the grass into the street, you might be charged a water waste fee, and that would show up on your bill.
Many warm season grasses, such as Bermuda, can stay healthy with even less water. Think about testing this on your lawn. If you remove 1 minute from each of your 4-minute sprinkler cycles, you can reduce sprinkler watering by 25%. Water dry spots with a handheld hose and test sprinklers for a minute or two after every spring mowing. Look for misaligned sprinkler heads and replace broken parts promptly to avoid water waste.
Let's switch gears and talk about drip irrigation. Drip watering is needed less frequently, however you'll set it to run longer, typically 30 minutes or more each time.
That's because drip irrigation delivers water more slowly and deeply to a plant's root zone in gallons per hour rather than gallons per minute. Delivered properly, drip irrigation promotes deep roots that provide better anchoring and stability, protection from hot surface temperatures, and a greater amount of nutrients. Drip irrigation is permitted 3 days a week in spring, but established plants often do well with less.
Just because you're scheduled to water 3 times a week doesn't necessarily mean that you need to water your plants that many times. What you generally want to do is to monitor your plants and make sure that you transition them well. So for example, in the early spring you can water them once, and then eventually twice, and then eventually 3 times a week. That way you make sure that your plants are going to be growing correctly, and that when it warms up they have the correct amount of water.
Like sprinklers, you should routinely check your drip system to keep your landscape's lifeline in good working condition. Walk through your landscape monthly and look for broken lines or clogged emitter heads. Flush your drip line through the end cap in both spring and fall. If you've got some spring landscaping projects planned, the key is to think smart from the start. New desert-adapted plants will need extra watering as they get established, which is allowed for the first 30 days under watering restrictions. After that, it's time to cut back. For more spring watering tips, visit snwa.com.
If you're caught watering outside your assigned watering days, you could receive a water waste fine. SNWA member agencies conduct water waste investigations throughout the valley and cite water wasters. A property owner is given an opportunity to correct the problem, but if it continues, the property will be fined for wasting water. If you see water waste, report it immediately to your water provider. A smart irrigation controller can help to reduce water waste by helping you manage your outdoor water use. If you have an older irrigation controller, consider an upgrade. The SNWA offers a rebate for qualifying smart controllers, which use weather data to assess and apply water only as your landscape needs it. New smart controllers allow you to control your watering needs from the palm of your hand through mobile apps.
So you can do all of that activity right here from your phone. With a simple app, I can stand anywhere on my property or really anywhere in the world and tell my irrigation system to change its program, and all those changes would be reflected right here. So I can just choose a particular area I can edit the program. I can choose the days of the week, what times to start. I can even put in pictures of the areas of my landscape so that I remember which zone connects with which portion of the landscaping. So this is all happening now for about $100. And with our Smart Controller rebate program, you'd get 50 of that back.
Visit snwa.com to learn more about Water Smart controllers and to print the coupon. Mandatory watering restrictions can help us all water wisely, avoid overwatering, and reduce water waste. In spring, you may be inclined to water more as the temperatures warm, but you don't need to. Your landscape can survive on less. The key is to monitor your landscape regularly and fine-tune seasonal needs.
Las Vegas is the driest city in the nation. We average a dismal 4 inches of rain a year and rely on the Colorado River for 90% of our water supply. The river system, however, is facing the worst drought in the basin's recorded history. As a result, Lake Mead's water level has dropped more than 130 feet since 2000. With a possible federally declared water shortage in 2020, water conservation is critical for the community. A majority of Southern Nevada's water is used outdoors, primarily on landscapes, and cannot be recycled and returned to Lake Mead. Reducing outdoor water use is an important conservation goal that will help protect Southern Nevada from shortage.
There are 3 steps you can take to cut your outdoor water use and make a positive impact on conservation efforts. Follow mandatory watering restrictions, report water waste, and remove useless grass. Doug, let's start with mandatory watering restrictions. Why is it so important to water only on your assigned watering days?
Well, first of all, it's important that people know that we created those restrictions around the needs of even a high water use landscape. So you can certainly keep your landscape healthy and still comply with the restrictions. What's cool about the restrictions is it seems like a fairly small and simple thing for people to do, change their clock 4 times a year. But if everybody gets on board, everyone in the valley complies with those restrictions, we're talking about saving billions of gallons of water every year.
Don't know which day you're supposed to water? We can help. Visit snwa.com and type your address where it says Find Your Watering Days and Group right on the homepage. You could incur a water waste fee if you're not following the mandatory watering restrictions.
Define water waste and what issues could result in a water waste fine.
Well, the most conspicuous type of water waste is allowing water to flow or spray off your property. So when you see water just flowing down the street, that's obviously not doing anyone any good. It's not helping a plant, simply throwing away a valuable resource. But the other ways that you can violate the water waste policy are by watering on a day that wasn't assigned to you. So remember, never on Sundays, and look up your watering schedule and know it. And also during the midsummer, we even have time of day restrictions. We don't want to run sprinkler systems in the heat of the day when that water is simply just evaporating before it can even reach the ground.
Water waste fees for SNWA member agencies start at $40 to $80 for most residential customers and double each month if the water waste continues. Properties with larger meters pay significantly more for wasting water. These charges appear on your water bill. If you're wasting water, fix it before you incur a water waste fee and report water waste to your water provider when you see it. The biggest water guzzler is grass. If the only time you step on your grass is to mow it, take it out and receive a cash rebate when you replace it with Water Smart landscaping. An average 1,000 square foot residential landscape conversion can save more than 50,000 gallons of water per year.
But when we do remote sensing, use aerial images to look around the valley, we suspect that there's still as much ornamental or non-functional turf in the valley as has been converted to Water Smart landscaping. So we're about halfway through what we consider to be an important project. We've been doing this now 18 years. And so we're working with some of the customers that are most resistant to these types of changes, and it's important that they reevaluate what they're doing, reevaluate what their needs, how their needs might have changed. In some cases, people's lifestyle has changed, and they might be ready now to undertake these projects. And we're also offering the largest incentive we've ever offered. So we're trying to reach that remaining non-functional turf in the valley, things where people only get on it when they're pushing a lawnmower. We can't afford water for that.
Businesses and residents can apply for the SNWA's Water Smart Landscapes rebate online or by calling the Conservation Helpline. Once you've completed the application, the SNWA will review your lawn and conversion areas and answer any questions you may have. You must participate in a pre-conversion site visit before removing any grass.
If you don't have grass but you live in a community where there is useless grass, like this, ask your homeowners association to remove it and replace it with desert landscaping.
Many of us live in an HOA, and we know it can be a little bit complicated. So you have all these common areas. You got to work through a board. The board is trying to meet the needs of the residents and so forth. So it's not as simple as convincing a single-family household to change their landscaping. What we're doing is a lot of outreach. We're doing mailings. We're trying to get ourselves in front of those boards so we can explain to them what the options are, how we might be able to help, what the financial assistance that we can provide to their project is. And likewise in the business community is also hard to reach because in some cases a facility may not be controlled by the people inside that building. And so we have to go find parent companies and so forth. Same thing, we're trying to reach out to them, get an audience with them, and have a discussion with them.
The Water Authority has teamed up with the Las Vegas Lights Football Club to encourage the community, including residents, businesses, and HOAs, to remove grass that serves no purpose.
This isn't a field, this is useless. Now we can really play.
The SNWA will pay you to remove useless grass. Our Water Smart Landscapes rebate program offers $3 for every square foot of grass you replace with desert landscaping, up to 10,000 square feet. Beyond that, customers can earn $1.50 per square foot. Since the rebate program launched in 1999, the community has removed more than 188 million square feet of turf and conserved more than 119 billion gallons of water. Leaks, whether big or small, waste water. If your water bill has increased recently for no apparent reason, you may have a leak in your home or landscape. Put on your detective cap and track down the most common water wasters with these tips.
Many U.S. homes can waste on average more than 10,000 gallons of water to leaks each year. That's enough to fill a small swimming pool. Nationwide, household leaks can waste more than 1 trillion gallons of water annually, and that's enough to fill 40 million swimming pools and 24 billion baths. Closer to home, fixing your own leaks can make a big difference on your water bill while conserving our most precious resource. Common sources of indoor home leaks include worn toilet flappers and dripping faucets or shower heads. Most can be relatively easy and, yes, inexpensive to fix. To help get you started, the SNWA offers a free indoor water audit and retrofit kit. With the kit, you can test the water efficiency of your home and upgrade some of your fixtures.
So the indoor audit and retrofit kit serves two purposes. It has several items that you can change in your house that actually are more efficient to help you save water. And then it also provides a couple of tools to find leaks inside the house. So together, it kind of gives you opportunities to save around the house. So some examples of things that are included are a shower head that is a low flow shower head. So it's a higher efficiency shower head, performs like your normal shower heads, but uses less water. Then we also have things like a flow bag, which actually you can go around the house and test the flow of the different devices, like your aerators, your shower aerators. We give a couple of sample aerators. There's dye tablets to see if you have leaks in your toilet. So there's a lot of items in this little kit that gives you the opportunity to save water around your house. We provide these kits, one free to every property in the valley. You just have to call 258-SAVE or visit snwa.com and request the audit kit, and we'll mail it to you.
Believe it or not, the toilets in your home consume more water than your faucets and showers, especially older models. If you have a leaky toilet, or maybe you're hearing the dreaded phantom flush, that's even more water down the drain. To test your toilet for a leak, first, just listen. If it's running nonstop, you have a leak. If you're still not sure whether you have a leak, use the leak detection dye tablets from the SNWA's Indoor Water Audit and Retrofit Kit. The water's color will change to blue if you have a leak. Most likely the culprit is a worn toilet flapper. Most flappers degrade after a few years and no longer seal tightly at that point, so leaks occur. Luckily, flappers are inexpensive and easy to replace. Better yet, leaky toilet flappers could soon become a thing of the past. That's because flapperless toilets are replacing conventional flush systems. These toilets are ultra efficient and can minimize leaks, ultimately helping to conserve water. Now what about a leaky faucet? A faucet that loses just one drip per second can waste more than 3,000 gallons per year. That's enough water to take more than 180 showers. Fix leaky faucets by checking faucet washers and gaskets for wear and replacing them if necessary. Don't overlook your shower head. A shower head that leaks 10 drips per minute wastes more than 500 gallons per year. You could wash 60 loads of dishes in your dishwasher with that amount of water. You can help create a tighter connection between the shower head and the pipe stem with pipe thread seal tape, also known as Teflon tape. If that doesn't stop the leak and the repair looks more complicated, you may want to call a licensed plumber. If you find that repairs aren't enough to stop the leaks you've found, it might be time to replace your fixtures. Look for the WaterSense label when you shop for new products to increase your home's efficiency. WaterSense labeled items are widely available at retailers, have been tested to perform at 20% higher water efficiency than average products, and provide measurable savings. And yes, they'll still get you, your clothes, and your dishes clean. So what if I suspect I have a leak, but I haven't been able to find it yet?
The first thing you want to do is make sure that everything that uses water in the house is turned off. So you want to have your irrigation off. You want to have dishwashers, washing machines, everything that uses water, not using water, so shut it off. Then you want to come out and you want to come to the meter. And so if you look at the meter down here, there's two dials. The big dial is thousands of gallons, and so you're not going to see that turning unless you just have a massive leak, but usually that's not what you see. It's the little dial, which is a triangle or a little star. If everything is turned off inside and you see that little dial still turning a little bit, that means you have a leak somewhere. And then you have to go through a process of elimination to decide, is it inside or outside? Could be both, but hopefully it's not. It's one or the other. And so we'll walk around and we'll turn the irrigation system on the outside off, and then you can kind of go inside and see if there's anything inside that may be the cause of that.
Outdoors, your irrigation system is susceptible to leaks that can waste far larger volumes of water than, say, a leaky indoor faucet. That's why regular checks are vital. Systems are subject to frequent use and high temperatures in summer, along with an occasional freeze in winter. Both extremes, along with wear and tear, can lead to cracks and breaks in both pipes and drip lines, as well as broken sprinklers and emitters. To determine whether you have a leak in your landscape, turn your irrigation clock to the manual setting and run each line or station on your system for 1 to 2 minutes. Walk through your landscape. A visual inspection should turn up obvious breaks. Check your valve box as well to ensure the valves aren't leaking. If you can't find the source of the leak but find soggy grass, damp planted areas, or puddles of water, you may have a larger problem, an underground leak.
So through the process of elimination, by turning the backflow off and the irrigation, we think we've eliminated the outside. We've gone around inside, and we haven't found anything. So really the next step is possibly a mainline leak or something that's underground. And for that, you really want to hire a professional. They can come out, they can kind of determine, they usually can find it, they have tools to do that. And so, somebody you want to hire to bring a professional to take care of it.
Repairing water damage caused by leaks can cost thousands of dollars for homeowners. Thanks to new, smart leak detection devices, you can prevent or mitigate water damage at your home using a smartphone app.
So leak detection devices is kind of the new technology that we're really excited about. It will help address water loss or water damage caused by leaks, which can kind of be a big issue for homeowners. And so these new devices basically will strap on to your water lines in your house, and then they will communicate to the customer through their phone. There are two types of devices, basically. One will strap on to your water line. Sometimes they go onto your meter or just onto a pipe. So you can monitor your water use. If you have a leak, you get notified. But in order to turn your water off, if you have to, you would have to come to the meter and do a turn off yourself. The other type of device, actually, you cut pipe and you install it. It also gives you information about consumption and how much you're using. But then if you have a catastrophic leak or for some need you need to turn it off, through your phone you can actually turn it off. They cost a little bit more money, they're a little more involved to install, but it actually gives you a little more protection. So there's kind of two basic types of devices that are out there, and we'll rebate both of those through our programs.
The SNWA offers a rebate of 50% of the purchase price, or $200, whichever is less. To receive the rebate, you must agree to allow SNWA to periodically conduct research through phone calls, surveys, or monitoring of water use to determine the long-term benefits of various water-smart technologies. For program details, visit snwa.com. When you turn on the tap, you expect the water to flow, but there's a lot of work behind the scenes to make that happen. Water embarks on an incredible journey before it reaches your faucet with help from municipal water agencies.
Nearly 90% of southern Nevada's drinking water begins as snow or rain in the Rocky Mountains of Colorado. After the snow melts and drains into the river, the water travels hundreds of miles before reaching Lake Mead. The Southern Nevada Water Authority draws and pumps this water to its state-of-the-art water treatment facilities. Following treatment that ensures water meets all state and federal Safe Drinking Water Act standards, water flows through an intricate network of pipes, pumps, and reservoirs before reaching its final destination, your home. As a regional agency, the Water Authority secures long-term water resources and oversees conservation planning. The Water Authority also provides water treatment and wholesale delivery for Southern Nevada, delivering treated drinking water from Lake Mead to area water providers, who then deliver water to you, the customer. SNWA helps to ensure safe and reliable water delivery by operating two of the nation's most advanced water treatment facilities, River Mountains and Alfred Merritt Smith. Water quality starts at Lake Mead, the largest man-made reservoir in the nation. Spanning nearly 250 square miles, Lake Mead is also impressively deep. The Water Authority's third intake plumbs these depths to draw the freshest, purest water. The third intake is designed to maintain access to our community's primary water supply, even as lake levels continue to decline.
The third intake extends into the lowest portions of Lake Mead, ensuring that we have access to our water even though the lake levels continue to decline. Now, the deeper water is easier to treat, easier to disinfect, and provides higher quality water to our customers. The pumping station, currently under construction, will work in tandem with the third intake to provide quality water to over 2 million Valley residents.
When the pumping station is completed in 2020, SNWA will have the ability to draw water from the lake, even if lake levels drop too low. Provides an effective disinfectant that destroys bacteria and waterborne pathogens. The next step in treatment is multi-stage filtration, which includes a step known as flocculation. Particles in the water form clumps called floc. The floc is so small it can't be seen by the naked eye. Flocculated water passes through multiple filters that trap and remove these particles. Chlorine is then added to the water as it leaves the treatment facilities. Both chlorine and corrosion control efforts further protect the water as it journeys through the pipeline distribution system, sometimes 30 miles or more uphill on its way to you.
Well, most of our water is delivered by gravity to our customers. This means that we use the natural principle of allowing the water to simply flow downhill. We locate our reservoirs farther uphill from the customers they serve, and thus when that water just simply flows naturally out of the pipes, we get water to the tap. Also providing the water uphill gives our customers the adequate tap pressure that they need.
Highly skilled operators guide water through a series of pumping facilities to move water to reservoirs and water tanks throughout the community. Reservoirs provide sufficient storage to meet our home and business water needs, as well as fire protection to support our community's first responders. The Las Vegas Valley Water District, the cities of North Las Vegas and Henderson, maintain more than 100 reservoir basins and tanks that collectively hold more than 1 billion gallons of water. The Las Vegas Valley Water District is building its first reservoir in 10 years.
Well, this reservoir is designed to meet the growing needs of Summerlin. We're about 33 miles as the crow flies from Lake Mead, where we get most of our water. and this will hold about 10 million gallons of water. It takes a lot of energy to pump that water up the hill from 33 miles away. We do that primarily in the evening hours. We don't have the constant droning of pumps, and it helps to reduce costs by using the energy during the evening when those costs are reduced.
To maintain water quality in the distribution system, operators and distribution personnel keep a watchful eye on flows, water levels, system pressures, and pumping activities. They work 24 hours a day, 365 days a year to monitor your water quality. Considering the important role that water plays in our daily lives, local water providers in Southern Nevada are committed to maintaining reliable water infrastructure that safely meets our community's water needs. By the time water reaches your tap, it's been treated and tested to the highest state and federal standards.
There are more ways to save, so join us next time here on Waterways. If you'd like to share your conservation efforts at home, contact us at Waterways, 1001 South Valley View Boulevard, Las Vegas, Nevada, 89153. Or send us an email through our website at snwa.com. We may feature your story. For more how-to videos and tips to conserve and care for our water, connect with us on social media. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again next time, right here on Waterways.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to City Council. We will start with our invocation and Pledge of Allegiance. And tonight for our invocation, we have Pastor Tim Journey from the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Thank you. Right there would be great.
Father God, I come to you in the name of Jesus, and I ask that you be with this great city. Continue to bless it. Be with the mayor. Be with the rest of the City Council, Father. Be with the city employees that are represented here tonight. I pray for the first responders, the police, the fire department, and the medical assistants as they keep this city safe. Tonight, as the council meets, as they hear what's on the agenda and as they go over it, Father, that you'll give them mercy and grace and wisdom and understanding in everyone's needs. And I want to thank you again for your son, Jesus, I pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Pastor. All right. We do have one public announcement. We have our communications manager, Lisa LaPlante.
Good evening, Council. The good news is I'll only do this once every 10 years. I'd like to introduce you all to Arlene Alvarez. She is a partnership specialist with the Census Bureau. Come on over here. So as you know, census is done every 10 years. And Mayor, you signed a proclamation to recognize the U.S. Census. Census starts next month.
Well, we've already started hiring, and the census itself will be next spring. So we're about 1 year out. So this is the symbolic gesture.
And she left with us some information in case anyone is interested in applying to be a census taker. So if anyone out there is interested in a position doing that. But the proclamation is right here, and it discusses all of the things that are involved in the U.S. Census, and we appreciate you being here tonight.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. And will you leave information with the city clerk for people that want to sign up to do that? That would be great.
Of course. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Next, we have our approval of the regular agenda. Madam City Clerk. Oh, yeah. I neglected public comment on agenda items. Anyone wishing to speak on an agenda item? All right, and then we'll move to approval of the regular agenda.
Thank you, Mayor. Staff is requesting that we remove item number 8E and F and move item number 6 to precede item number 4, please.
Okay. Mr. City Manager?
No further changes.
Mr. City Attorney?
No further changes.
And come to Council for approval.
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries unanimously. I'd like to recognize Mr. Harhay. Councilmember Harhay is on the telephone there. I apologize for not to enter. Can you hear us loud and clear?
Yes, good evening from Washington, D.C.
All right, we can hear you too. I hope you're doing well there. Thanks for joining us.
Okay.
Okay, and next is our approval of the consent agenda. Madam City Clerk.
No changes.
Mr. City Manager.
No changes.
Mr. City Attorney.
No changes.
And Council.
Move to approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion also carries unanimously. I know we have one fourth grader out there. And can we get you to stand up so we can recognize you? Yeah. Thank you. You can say a few words if you want to. Your smile says it all. We appreciate you being here. Thank you for coming. Pretty smile. All right. So we are on then to item number 6 we're taking first, which is matters pertaining to the Community Development Block Grant. We have our Community Development Director, Mr. Michael Mays, to introduce that.
Good evening, Mayor and members of City Council.
Each year, 15% of what the city receives from Clark County for community development block grant funds can be utilized for public service fund requests. And for several years now, those funds have been going to emergency aid and lend a hand. And before you tonight is a public hearing for the consideration of their two applications and the dollar amount request. Emergency aid is asking for $25,521. Lend a hand is asking for $8,967. Claudia Bridges is here from Emergency Aid to answer any questions you may have, and Letty Zimmerman is here from Lend a Hand.
All right, thank you. Claudia, would you like to say a few words?
Sure. I'm Claudia Bridges. I'm the Treasurer and Grant Coordinator for Emergency Aid of Boulder City. We've been receiving this grant for 32 years, and we really appreciate the relationship we have with the city through the county, through all the way up to HUD for this money. It helps us deliver on our mission about helping people avoid homelessness. That's pretty much who are facing an emergency situation. This grant is wonderful. It helps us pay rent and utilities for those people. And we find that most of those people, well, they have to be able to go forward. That's part of the agreement. And so, do you have any questions?
Council, do you have questions or comments? We don't. Wow.
Actually, I do have. I would just like to say, the work that Emergency Aid does is vital to our community. And I know that the staff over there, I believe you have one paid staff member.
Half time. Mm-hmm.
And everyone else is a volunteer.
Yes.
This organization grew out of Boulder City Welfare Services that I believe started back during the construction of the dam. So.
Yeah, it was started in 1932 and incorporated in 1966.
Again, thank you for the services you provide.
Thank you very much.
Anybody else?
I just want to echo what Councilman McManus said. Boulder City Emergency Aid is an integral part of our community and has provided these exemplary services for years, as you mentioned, and the fact that you have so many dedicated volunteers is remarkable. And the other thing is that the community is really engaged in keeping the pantry stocked. So
absolutely.
It's just a great community organization. So congratulations and thanks to all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, one other thing.
Go ahead.
I forgot to mention one thing. I believe the clients that you provide services for, the last figure I heard was that over 90% of them have been Boulder City residents, and there are residency requirements for some of the services you provide.
The pantry requirements are residency for 30 days. And for help with rent, utilities, it's 6 months. And they have to have proof. There has to be a signed lease. There has to be a driver's license, something to prove that they've lived in Boulder City for 6 months.
So again, these services are directed primarily to Boulder City residents.
Absolutely. Specifically, and I would say more than 90% in terms of rent and utilities assistance, and that's what the grant goes for. I would say, well, it has to be almost 100% are residents of Boulder City.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Letty, would you like to come up for Lend a Hand?
Letty Zimmerman, I'm on the board of Lend a Hand, and I want to first of all thank you for the past support you've given us. I guess we're the newcomers, only 28 years of being involved with this program. The grant that we get from the CBDG is applied to our transportation coordinator position. Now, our main services, for some of you who don't know, transportation is the major thing we do to medical appointments in both in Las Vegas and the whole Las Vegas Valley and in Boulder City. We also do home services for people who are homebound and need assistance. We will go into the home and do respite for a caregiver who just has to get out and have some time to do their own thing. We will do that as well. But the majority of our work is transportation. On an annual basis, we have about 300 clients. Not all of them require a lot or maybe even any service in a given time period. But when you have dialysis patients or other patients that have to go into the VA hospital, it's quite a commitment for our volunteers. We have about 80 volunteers who work throughout the year. Right now we're short, where demand for services is peaking, and so I want to put a plug in for anyone who wants to really a rewarding thing to do to volunteer for driving or in-home services. I talked with the volunteer coordinator just yesterday, and she had 18 requests for service from clients that she was still trying to match for next week's service with volunteers. And on a personal note with that, I was able, last week I was privileged to do a drive a person into an appointment, and it's a person who had been very independent and had a sudden medical event that just changed her life. It's been a short period, but she's recovering, but still a lot of medical appointments. And she told me that Lend a Hand had saved her life. And when you're driving somebody and it's taken you, a couple of hours, it makes you feel like, is there anything else I could have done that would have better use of my time? And so we appreciate the support, the financial support, and I'm always wanting to encourage people to come forward and volunteer because the rewards are great for the clients, but also very great for the volunteers. Thank you.
Thank you. Council, any questions or comments? Mr. McManus.
Again, I would just like to thank all the volunteers that do work with Lend a Hand. And as I recall, I believe last year it was mentioned that many of the drivers donate their mileage back to the organization to use for other purposes. So, again, provides a great service here in town. Thank you.
Councilwoman Leavitt.
Mr. Mayor, Lend a Hand is another stellar organization in Boulder City. I was privileged to be on the board for a while, so I really got kind of a closer look at what was going on, and they do have amazing volunteers, and Letty answered my question with respect to caseload, so it seems like that's going up, the number of people that you serve. But one of the things that I was struck with when I was on the board is how effectively and efficiently it is run. It's just another great organization, and I remember when it was formed. I was trying to think of the founder, Pat Duncan, was it? So that won't tell you how old I am, but I've been around for a while.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
I just want to mention that Lend a Hand has touched our family's life. And in full disclosure, our handicapped son, Matthew, is a client of Lend a Hand. And they've been immense help in a number of different ways in our family. And a salute to them from the Harhay family.
Thank you. Any others? So this is a public hearing item. Anybody in the public wishing to speak on this? All right, we'll see, and then we'll close the public hearing. I just also want to add that both wonderful organizations, as I've talked to the volunteers as well as those that kind of spearhead these efforts over the years, including recently at the Rock Roll and Stroll, it's always apparent that you can never get enough volunteers. All the volunteers seem to be doing double duty all the time, and so make a plea to the public out there that even though these organizations are well run by those that are running them, they can use your help. and as well as financial assistance, but in particular that volunteerism really touches lives. And as was said by Letty, I mean, these people that receive these services view it as saving their lives. It really does, whether it's pantry, whether it's transportation, whether it's the home visits or otherwise. And both stellar organizations that are great ambassador organizations for Boulder City, and we really appreciate it. So with that, I'll go ahead and move for approval of this item.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Any opposed? And that motion carries unanimously. Thank you for coming tonight for that. And next, I believe, is item number 4. We have a presentation regarding our utilities from our utilities director, Mr. Dennis Porter.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I promised the city clerk that I would keep this to less than 90 minutes, so I'll try to do that. It's day 70 since I started shortly after Thanksgiving, and what I've prepared for you is just kind of a briefing, high-level briefing on what I've observed and some of the things I've seen, and some of the issues I think we're going to need to challenges or even opportunities, if you want to look at it that way, that are something we're going to have to deal with in the future. So with that, I'll start with a quick overview. Went too far. Essentially, the utilities themselves are all created by charter. As Councilman McManus said yesterday, they're not really defined by each function right now in the charter, but they are defined and they're treated as separate enterprise fund with regards to the water, the wastewater, the electric, and the landfill. They are not for profit, which is really how we distinguish ourselves from the likes of independently owned utilities like Nevada Energy. We'll start with the water. On the water side, we're regulated by EPA. The Safe Drinking Water Act was completed in 1974. Nevada Department of Environmental Protection has primacy. They're basically our regulation, our body that regulates us and makes sure we're doing what we have to do to meet the criteria within the Safe Drinking Water Act. The utility itself has about 5,400 residential accounts and about 580 commercial accounts. I think everybody knows, but just in case folks don't, we're a purveyor member of the Southern Nevada Water Authority. The Southern Nevada Water Authority is relatively new, speaking, if you will. They were created in 1991. You can see the list of members there, which includes, of course, Boulder City. The Water Authority provides Boulder City with both wholesale raw water, which we use mostly for irrigation, and then our potable water that we use for domestic purposes. Tonight, John Ensminger was actually originally supposed to be here, but he's up testifying on the drought contingency plan in Washington, D.C., so he'll be out next month to give everyone updates with regards to that. So I'll try not to steal his thunder. They also provide us with water quality testing. I think everybody knows they manage Southern Nevada's water resources as a whole. They also kind of oversee the conservation planning as well as the drought contingency plan. And then they manage and operate the big backbone regional system to deliver water to the purveyor members. This is a picture of Lake Mead. You can see there, it's about 149 feet down from full pool, if that's what they call it. So we're still in a drought, even though it's been a better year than normal. John will talk a lot about that next month, but the good news is it looks like with the snowpack this year, we'll be able to at least push shortage off one more year. Shortage starts to happen where Southern Nevada has to give up some resources to leave water in the lake at 1075 elevation, then at 1050 elevation, then 1025 elevation. This slide itself just kind of shows you that, over the past few years, our demands have stayed pretty stable. So it tells me that conservation is working. We have added population, we've added accounts, but we haven't used more water. So I think you'll also see in the very near future that conservation is going to be something the Southern Nevada Water Authority focuses on more stringently than they even have in the past, and so we'll be coming forth with more drought measures in the future. This slide gives you an idea of the assets within the system. We have over 780,000 feet of potable water mains from 2 inches, pretty small, to 24 inches diameter. A lot of pressure reducing valves. We have a lot of terrain in Boulder City. A lot of fire hydrants to keep the dogs happy. 2,942 valves and 6,000 water meters, plus or minus. And of course, Councilman Levitt likes pictures, so there's some pictures. Some more of the assets on the reservoir side. We do have right now about 12 million gallons actually in service. We have a 2.5 million gallon tank that's out of service. Something we have to take a look at. There's been some water quality issues associated with that tank itself. And the reason I kind of want to show this next slide is that this slide here shows our max day demand during the summer. We pump around 16 million gallons a day. The Southern Nevada Water Authority system itself can pump around 20 million gallons a day. So we do have capacity to add customers. But the concern I have is tied back to storage and the fact that if we lose the Southern Nevada water system, which is a single pipeline coming up from Alfred Merritt Smith treatment plant, we're down for a number of days. Do we have enough storage to be able to deal with that? So that's something we'll be looking at pretty quickly. On the raw water side, we have 6 raw water accounts. Quite a bit of more water main than I thought. We have about 82,000 feet of 2-inch to 24-inch raw water pipeline, some pressure reducing valves, and of course 1 reservoir for raw water storage. This slide here shows you that we do have available capacity to move more raw water, which kind of leads back to looking into whether we would have the ability to convert the Boulder municipal course into a raw water course and not continue to use potable water for that course. And in fact, we're starting those meetings tomorrow morning. So, went too far. As it relates to water system planning and asset management planning, we do have a hydraulic model that was completed in 2017, which means we have employed or deployed some of that technology to be able to deal with operational issues. If there's new customers, large or small, we can input that into the model and see how it affects the operation of the system, as well as the capacity of the system. A water system master plan is needed to assess future needs. We talked about that in the budget discussions. And then from a maintenance management perspective, they have, at least the folks I'm working with, have started a preventative maintenance plan. It does need to be formalized and kind of built into the operations in a more formal way. When I say that, we have input most of the assets into the GIS system, so we know the pipe material, age of the pipe, diameter of the pipe, and we can start really building that information and using it to do the condition assessments. The system, like me, is aging, and so obviously that this kind of all comports back to the strategic plan and the fact that we do need to manage our assets. Improving that planning and maintenance and asset management will improve our ability to actually have a very accurate capital improvement plan, and that's important as we do get into the rate study that we've talked about. Now for the fun stuff, the wastewater. Everybody likes wastewater. The 1972, the Clean Water Act was enacted, which basically created a permitting system to basically give us direction on how we have to what levels we have to treat wastewater. In Boulder City, we treat to a secondary level, and then we discharge the majority of that effluent into the desert south of I-11. A number of counts is similar to water. Just here's a kind of a summary of the assets again. Quite a bit of sewer lines, 4-inch to 18-inch. over 436,000 feet, 3 sewer lift stations, 14,752 feet of sewer force mains that go with those lift stations, and 1,800 manholes. Had to have some more pictures for Councilman Levin. These pictures really are a good example of what happens when you have corrosion in your manholes. The picture on the right, it shows a pretty severely corroded manhole. Picture on the left shows some issues with one of our pipelines. On the treatment side, whoops, went too far. On the treatment side, we have the 2 MGD secondary wastewater treatment facility. Right now, we treat about 1.2 million gallons a day at that facility. We have one customer who uses some of the effluent, but the majority of it is discharged into the desert. And of course, the good news is we have not had any permit violations. More pictures for Councilman Levin. Headworks on the left, there's a capital improvement project to manage some issues with the headworks. It's where the flow goes into the facility and we have to screen stuff out. And then the aerated lagoons on the right. On the wastewater side, unlike the water side, we don't have a hydraulic model. It's not an incredibly complicated wastewater system, but in this day and age, the models are pretty simple to put together and something we should have so that we can assess where we may have hot spots. Or if a large customer comes into town, we can put that demand on the sewer model and determine what the impacts are. We do need a wastewater system master plan. I think I found one from 1969. And if there's one that's more recent than that, I couldn't find it. So maintenance management plan, similar to water. They have started that maintenance management planning, but it does need to be formalized and put into the operating portion of the utility. Again, on the asset management side, it's aging like I am. The majority of the assets are in GIS as well, so that's a good thing. We do need to do comprehensive condition assessments, looking at through television inspection, manhole inspection, to get an idea of what the condition of the sewer is in. We do have some of that information, but the entire system has not been done. And of course, we need to start capturing data. Right now, most of that data is in our operators' heads with regards to sanitary sewer overflows and where we have issues in the sewer system. Fortunately, it looks like most of that's limited. Probably one of the bigger items that we need to address is what to do with the effluent reuse. We do need to study to figure out what to do that. We did start meeting with Southern Nevada Water Authority just recently. Right now, that's a valuable resource. I think we all would agree with that. We discharge it and dispose of it into the desert, and that doesn't get used, doesn't count to a return flow credit, so it has really no value right now. So the options we're intending on looking at are treating it, returning to Lake Mead, or the river, either one, and then possibly either indirect potable reuse or direct potable reuse. So with that, we do need to improve the planning, the maintenance, and asset management. And again, we really would need to get that solidified so that we have a good handle on our capital projects and the priorities for those capital projects. On the electrical side, the electric utility, we purchase most of our power through Silver State Electric Association. That includes the Hoover Power, the Hoover Schedule A and B, the Salt Lake portion, and then where we don't have enough power to meet those demands through Hoover, they go out on the market and purchase power for us. The good news is those market purchases and the combination of those with the Hoover Power, at least for the next 5 years, look really good. So typically, we're fairly accurate from 0 to 5 years with what our power purchases are going to be. After that, it gets a little more sketchy, so we're a little bit more conservative with those projections. And you can see here on this, was already there. On this slide, it just gives you an idea in megawatt hours. We average, this year about $35 per megawatt hour. It's going to stay around that for the next 4 to 5 years. So that's a positive thing. Assets, we have a lot of electrical assets, over 100,000 linear feet of overhead transmission cable, almost 157,000 linear feet of overhead distribution cable, and almost 600,000 linear feet of underground distribution cable. We have about 8,000 electrical connections, plenty of 243 steel power poles, and 1,210 wooden power poles. More pictures. You like pictures? On the electrical side, again, unlike water on the wastewater side, the electrical side, we don't have a model as far as a technical ability to put a new demand on a model and see the impacts on the electrical distribution system immediately. We do those by calculation now. I don't, but somebody does. And again, we're far along with technology that we should be able to implement a distribution system model. We do need a master plan, more so now for the distribution system. I think we have a pretty good handle on the improvements that need to be done with the transmission side. They've been ongoing. They'll continue to be going on into the near future. And so now we need to dive down into the distribution side of the utility and get a good handle on that. Yeah, and on the maintenance management side, we're mostly reactive. We do run some things to failure. There's little or no predictive maintenance management, so that's something we definitely need to get in place once we complete a condition assessment. Again, this is kind of over and over, but the system is aging. I think everybody here knows that. It was constructed quite a long time ago. In this case, we do not have all the assets in GIS. We are backlogged with regards to that, and there's a lot of work to go to get the mapping done to get that into the system. So, same story here. We definitely need to improve planning, maintenance, and asset management. And that will definitely help with us, for us to be able to have confidence in those CIP projects that need to be built in for the next 5 to 10 years into our budget process. A landfill. We're a Class 1 municipal landfill, regulated by the Southern Nevada Health District. Obviously, we cover a large amount of square miles in Boulder City. Operations are contracted to BC Waste Free. Obviously, the city owns the landfill, and it does have a projected life of 100 years. So the good news is we're in pretty good shape with the landfill itself. There might be some small capital projects that need to be done with regards to some drainage improvements and some fencing and stuff like that, but there's nothing really alarming with regards to the landfill or the operations of the landfill, at least that I can see yet. So in conclusion, that's kind of a summary of where I think we are with the utilities and the utility funds themselves. I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you.
I think that was less than 90 minutes.
It's close. Did a great job. All right, council questions or comments? Mr. McManus.
I know we talked about some of these things yesterday in my briefing, so I appreciate you mentioning a few of those. One thing that I hear from a lot of folks in town is we've seen substantial rate increases over the past few years. Prior to your arrival, I'll point that out to the public. You're not responsible for that. But again, these have been substantial. One of the things that has been factored into that are the service fees. So we've gone from, I believe it was $5 for a service fee on electric meters to almost $40 on the meter. The problem with that for a lot of folks is you can't conserve your way out of fees like that. One thing you didn't mention was there is a rate study being contemplated. Mm-hmm. So I'll give you an opportunity to mention that.
You are correct. That's near and dear to my heart for a lot of different reasons. But yeah, I think we need to obviously take a look at the capital plan, the O&M budgets, look at how we're currently managing the rates and the rate structure, and we will do that through a rate study. July 1st, hopefully get started on that.
Okay. But again, as I mentioned with these service fees, if a person's on a fixed income, when those fees go up by 600%, they can't turn the thermostat up a few degrees and try and mitigate that. So that's a significant burden, and I do understand that those service fees are what pay for a lot of the maintenance and replacements that are needed, but I would really like to see us look at something where those folks that want to conserve, that are able to conserve, can do that and make a difference on their bill, so that no matter what they do, they still get the service fees that, as I say, we've seen substantial increases in those amounts. So that's one item with regard to the rate structure, and it doesn't promote conservation. And again, I get that it's our municipal utility, and if people conserve too much, then that puts us in a bind on some other things. But if people want to conserve and need to conserve, I would like to see us have an ability to be able to give them a way to do that. You also mentioned the approaching SNWA about further treating the wastewater that's currently going out into the desert. I think that's an excellent idea. 1 million gallons a day is the figure that flows out there. We look over the hill the other direction and we see Lake Mead dropping. That may not be much of a drop in Lake Mead, but it's substantial if we look at 356,000 gallons or million gallons a year. With regard to these projects and the state of our utilities, I know there are some restrictions on, we don't want to put every piece of information out there to protect the system. But I think it would be good when you do get these things worked out and get these management plans in place that you've mentioned, we inform the public about that, what the state of these things are. I know some of this has been done through the capital improvement plan, but we need to do a better job, I believe, of explaining to the public what exactly it is that we're working on. An example of that came up with the BC tap transformer. Apparently it was purchased last year. It's yet to be energized. There were issues found with it. That was a major project. Matter of fact, it was number one, I believe, on the capital improvement project. And then it comes to light that it still hasn't even been energized. It's just sitting out there on the pad waiting for something to happen. We need to advise the public as these things go through. So I would like to see something get posted on our city website that shows the progress of these different projects. With regard to the landfill, I've heard some complaints. I'm sure it was a safety move, but they put a railing around all the dumpsters out there. I granted it's a way to get people in shape, but there needs to be some way of making it somewhat possible for people to get their stuff into the dumpsters and not have it spill out on the ground and that sort of thing. Again, I understand that was a safety concern, that we don't want people falling in the dumpster as they're throwing things away, but something maybe could be engineered out there to make that a little easier on folks instead of having to lift things up over the railing. With regard to our water system, that was an issue that we spoke about yesterday. Knowing what these reservoirs are for, we are paying off a substantial debt out of our water fund. $2.3 million a year is going for that raw water project. A lot of statements made that project was in anticipation of adding to the number of golf courses we already have here in Boulder City. So we're paying for development that never occurred and has no benefit to the city. If that is to be converted or needs to be converted for storage of potable water in the event that something happens, again, I would like to see some very firm information get presented to the public about that. And again, I do appreciate the plans that you're putting in place. I know you've been here less than 3 months now, so this system was built, some 90 years ago, or at least started being built 90 years ago. But we have a long ways to go. There have been a lot of mistakes made in our utility fund that we continue to pay for. So I appreciate the work you're doing on it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Others? Councilwoman Levitt.
Well, besides pictures, I really like planning as well. So you did a good job of both. And I do think pictures tell what did they say? I can't remember the saying, but anyway, it tells people or shows people what's going on. So I appreciate that. But I think it's also important when we're talking about transparency that we do have these plans that people can see exactly what we're planning for the future and that they're measurable and we're accountable. And so I think that adds to what Councilman McManus was saying with respect to keeping the public informed, because they can see what is planned and what we accomplish. And I also appreciate you bringing up the affluent water that's going into the desert. That was, I think you and I talked about it, that it was mentioned to John Ensminger at the town hall meeting that we had last fall. So that has been on his radar for a while. And I know that they want to come up with something that is useful for that water. But, one of the problems, of course, is the cost of doing any of the alternatives that you mentioned. So anyway, I think this was a great overview, and I appreciate your service to our city as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any others? Mr. Harhay, do you have anything?
I have nothing to add.
All right. Well, let me add just a few words. Great presentation. It's good for us to see periodically, the status of everything, what you're working on to, I think the common thread through each of these was, we need to update master plans. We need to get a systems model in place and, other things like that so that, we're prepared for contingencies in the future and we kind of know the roadmap going forward and we can quickly assess new demands and things like that. And I agree with all of that. So I appreciate you putting a fresh set of eyes on all of those and getting the ball rolling in that direction. Just a couple of things on each of these utilities. The water, that particular utility, we do have the one remaining debt that we have, and I've talked about this in past meetings in connection with the budget and other presentations, and just again encourage us to look for ways to pay down that debt quickly. It's something that we've all inherited. None of us created that, and yet it's important that we not just allow the debt to remain there. We need to, in my opinion, aggressively pay it off to the extent we can do that, so that we can save the city money and in the long run, as well as to prepare for the potential for having additional debt, whatever that might be, whether it's a swimming pool or something else in the future. You don't want to just stack up debts and not pay those down. And so we've done that in the past, and I would just remind us to keep looking for ways to do that going forward. On the wastewater, I'm glad Councilwoman Levitt brought up that at her town hall meeting, and I do wish John Ensminger were here tonight because he gave a great presentation at that town hall meeting that Councilwoman Levitt organized. And after that meeting, Mr. Lassoff was there too. He and I approached Mr. Ensminger about just that specific thing, which was, isn't there a way that the Water District or the Southern Nevada Water Authority can help us to do something with our wastewater that just goes out into the desert? Because part of his presentation is how this, the the Water Authority is preparing for the future, conservation minded. It's recharging water into the ground and other things. And so we talked about that. We talked about potential of putting it back in the lake, and we coming out of that conversation, kind of discussion about going forward with staff on just exploring those. And I know immediately Rory, when he was here, reached out and others to make that happen. And so I'm glad that discussion and dialogue is going forward. We would like to hear, what some of the proposals are, or if there's anything feasible in the future. And we can, I guess, get some of those in our briefings. But I think that's excellent that we're looking at that. And I just want to say too that on the landfill, again, I mean that's one that I think we can be proud of. We've got 2 landfill expansions in my tenure on the city council. It is looking good for the future. We have extended the landfill life from 10 or less years, 10 or fewer years when I first got on council. I mean, that was a real concern as to would we be able to continue this thing. And so with the help of our operator, with the help of the health district when I was on there, with forward thinking by the council, we've been able to extend that out to at least 100 years or more. And so that's one that we can be proud of, in good shape for at least for the foreseeable future on to where that's going. And we need to continue to do that with our other utilities as well. So good presentation, and I'm sure that it will be good fodder for the public to have questions about that, and appreciate you being there to answer those. So with that, I will open up to public comment if there be any. Judy.
Judy DeShane. Wouldn't dumping the water out in the desert recharge the aquifer in any way, or could we extend it so it would go into an aquifer underground some way? I don't know enough about Nevada's water system underground. It's just an idea.
Thank you. Any others? All right, we'll close public comment on that. And so, yeah, I mean, there is a difference between evaporation and actually recharging the ground, but I'm not the technical guy on that, so I'll let somebody else answer that question for you. All right, so thank you for that presentation. We don't have any action items on that, right? Okay, we're on to item number 5. Request for City Council directive authorizing city staff to seek appraisals for 384 acres in the El Dorado substation. Mr. Armentrout.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm Brock Armentrout, your contracts real estate manager. I promised the city clerk that I'd use as many words as possible for my item. If you know Ms. Crum, she prefers I use as few as possible. The El Dorado substation, located at the far west end of El Dorado Valley Drive, which is west of the initial solar energy area. That site was initially approved under the BLM right-of-way grant back in 1969 for a 50-year grant. The city was required to recognize all existing BLM right-of-way grants at the time we acquired ownership in 1995, until such time that they expire. This one's about to expire in August of this year, and they've approached the city to convert their right-of-way grant to a lease with the city. To do that, I need to have the land appraised, and under our city charter and under state law, I need to ask your permission first before I seek the appraisal. So we're here before you today to seek staff direction to go ahead and have this land appraised so we can move forward with the lease.
Thank you. Any questions or comments, council? Okay, if not, I would entertain a motion then.
I'll move to authorize going ahead with the appraisal on the property.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Any opposed? That motion carries unanimously. Next, we have item number 7 already, the city manager's report.
Mayor and Council, this item has no other, what am I trying to say? No things out of the normal transactions that we see on a monthly basis.
Okay, thank you. So, next is item number 8, matters pertaining to the Boulder City Professional Firefighters Association, fact-finding and negotiations. We have Mr. Bryce Bolt to introduce that. And we just have A through D, I guess, right? We struck E and F.
Yes, sir. Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm Bryce Bolt, your administrative officer. Tonight, there's a statute that we need to have a little public dialogue about a fact-finding. So to give you a little background, about 3 years ago, we began negotiations with the Boulder City Professional Firefighters Association. At some point in time, I believe it was December, we declared an impasse and entered non-binding fact-finding in December of 2019. That fact-finding has been returned, and by statute, we need to bring it to the governing body within 45 days, discuss the elements of it, and present the fiscal impact of that fact-finding recommendation. And then we'll meet the terms of that. I was hoping to bring the whole kit and caboodle tonight, being the collective bargaining agreement, total fiscal impact, but we needed to, the statute governing that process requires the CBA be strikeouts, underlines, and we're still working on that. There was a little language question. We think we've got that cleared up. And then moreover, the retroactive pay and benefits, want to make sure we're really pretty close on that before we present it. So that'll hopefully come to you April 9th. The fact finder in this case, by the time that day ended, really was only one issue before that fact finder, and that was retroactive pay for fiscal year 17-18, and whether the city would have to pay that retroactive pay or not. That was the question before the fact finder. She came back with kind of splitting the baby, if you will, a little 3/4 to 1/4. So her recommendation is that we back pay from October 1st, 2018 until, October 1st, 2017 to June 30th, 2018. The fiscal impact of that is approximately $36,605. Now, when I come back with the whole collective bargaining agreement, that will be a part of that fiscal impact. So tonight really is the opportunity to discuss the findings and in an open forum, and I think we'll meet the obligations of that statute.
Okay, so we also have a closed session on here. So how do you explain to me what we're doing? Because I know the public hearing part is moved to the next meeting, it appears, correct?
Well, when a contract comes back, there's a public hearing involved too. This is a public, and let me see if I can find the actual language. We have to hold a public meeting, which this is a public meeting, and we have to discuss the issues the parties submitted to the fact finder, and that was the one issue, the retroactive pay, report the findings and recommendations of the fact finder, and that was the October 1st, 17 through June 30th, 18 was with the fact finder. The overall fiscal impact, I presented that at $36,600, I believe, and then I just have to report that, and that's about it for tonight.
Okay.
Again, I was hoping to bring it all, but we'll take care of it April 9th.
Okay. So are we entertaining questions on what you've reported then at this point? Or?
You certainly can. I can answer questions about the fact finding, absolutely.
Okay. Any questions or comments, Council? Okay. And so we do have a closed session to discuss the labor negotiations. And as far as final public comment, can we move that ahead, or do we need to go ahead and go into the closed session first?
You can move public comment up because there will not be any action taken coming out of closed session. It's more of a briefing. There's no action item after the closed session. So you can go ahead and move public comment up. Okay, let's go ahead and do that and do our council reports after that, and then we'll entertain a motion to go into closed session. So we are to our final public comment period if anybody's wishing to speak and give public comment on anything. Okay, we'll close public comment and come to council for reports. Mr. McManus.
It was mentioned earlier this evening about the start of the census, the 2020 census. I attended the Southern Nevada Regional Planning Coalition board meeting today. That's a subject that was discussed. Apparently, some cities are going ahead. It's very important to make sure that we get accurate counts. These counts feed into all types of formulas that determine how much money comes back to each community. That includes getting accurate counts of the homeless, potentially undocumented individuals. All of that needs to be calculated in order to have accurate counts as far as how our schools get funded, the money that comes back to each city. So I believe there was a dollar amount out there of maybe a $200,000 contract that might be upcoming for something like that. I'm sure that Mr. Mays with Community Development will be getting something prepared for council in the future on that. I believe City has already started their process to try and get that organized. But again, it's and they did come up with a clever acronym also. SNAPPY was the acronym they've got going for theirs. A couple of other things that came up at that meeting. This regional coalition has been instrumental in some of the trail systems that benefit Boulder City to a large extent. The River Mountain Loop Trail is one of those. There's a Neon to Nature organization. They tell me they have a phone app for that. I don't like apps on my phone, but that might be a good one if you're interested. Give you all kinds of information about the trail systems. And then Outdoor Nevada